And welcome to Osseo High School for our spring opener for 2014 on 12 Sports. Softball action for you today, a non-conference game, the season opener for the Cooper Hawks, and game number 2 for the host Osseo Orioles. Hi again, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Stan Waldhauser, and a chilly evening here at Osseo, but not much wind, at least as the game starts. We're under the new lights here at Osseo. Of course, the sun's still out now, but by middle of the game here, those lights will be taking full effect. Cooper, of course, will bat first as a visitor here today, and Erin Brown and her team will send up this lineup. Tamara Hicks, the shortstop, leads it off. Leah Donahoe in center, hitting second. Michelle Hansen at third base hits third. Jessica Burns, the left fielder, hitting fourth. Judy Bruner, the catcher, hits fifth. Macy Hallquist at second base, hitting sixth. Ray Beener, the pitcher, bats seventh. Tracy Warset at first base, hitting eighth. And Sam Hallquist, the right fielder, hitting in the 9 slot for the Hawks. They'll be facing Courtney Calkins, who returns as pitcher this year for the Orioles, and 1-0 so far as she picked up a victory over Coon Rapids in the opener on Monday. Won all 7, allowing 7 hits, a couple of runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks as Hicks steps in. Hicks has really good speed, 436 hitter a year ago, and definitely in at the corners looking for the slap as she's going to try and get her way on. They have good speed at the top stand and good bat control with their first 2 hitters.
They do, and Osseo has a slight advantage here, having played here last night in this cold weather, even with a little bit more wind than we have tonight.
Hicks fouling one over the dugout. Cooper, I think, had at least one game that was supposed to be played, but obviously weather conditions and field conditions just kind of getting into shape right now, and not such great weather even this week, but at least the fields have dried out sufficiently to give it a go on them, most of them anyway. That one misses down.
Everyone's hoping we don't have a repeat of last spring when we had snow the first week of May.
2-2 count here to Hicks, trying to get things started for Cooper. A little pop-up down the line, and a sliding catch is made. Nice job in foul ground there. The shortstop, Auer, getting over there to make the catch.
Corners were pulled in tight. The ball popped over third base, but was high enough and stayed up long enough for the shortstop to get over and make the grab.
Umpire had a long look to make sure she had held on to that ball because there was a little bit of a bobble, but she did a good job getting to her knees to guide that ball into her body and hang on to it. So now 1 out. Leah Donahoe steps in for Cooper. She drops down a bunt, but that one's going to bounce foul. Donahoe hit .406 last year, and another speedy one near the top of the lineup. So you'll get a look at the Osseo defense. Faith Lovechuk at third base. Auer, who made that catch at short. Allison Tallberg, at second, and Haley Swanson at first base. Teckham, Bridgman, Ruska in the outfield. Ashley Siss returning at catcher, and there's a pop-up by Donahoe to the shortstop. And another play for Auer there, making the grab, so now 2 gone.
Cooper not taking advantage of their left-handed batters who have good foot speed. They're putting the ball up in the air and recording easy outs.
Hansen will step in here for the Hawks. Lays off that one. Hansen, a sophomore. Like her potential, I would guess, being in the number 3 slot in their order to start the season. They didn't lose a lot to graduation, but they did lose quality. Some of their players that they lost for Cooper, I'm speaking of Casey Anderson, their pitcher, who hit .500 with 25 RBIs and was also their pitcher for like 4 years in a row, and then also Katie McGuire and Angie McGrath, who both hit .400 or above. So definitely some holes to fill in that regard, but they do have a lot back. Two count here to Hansen as Courtney Calkins trying to work a 1-2-3 first. And a rip and a miss, and Hansen is down on strikes. And Cooper goes quickly in the top of the first. No runs, no hits, and no one left as you get a look at Hansen going after one up around her shoulders there. Had to protect the plate though with 2 strikes and swings and misses. So no score after a half inning here. And Osseo and Eric Ruska will get their first time with the bats here. The lineup for the Orioles: Taylor Bridgman, the center fielder, leads it off. Kelly Auer, the shortstop, hitting second. Allison Tallberg, the second baseman, hits third. The pitcher, Calkins, hits in the 4 slot. Ashley Sis, the catcher, hits 5th. Lane Ruska, the right fielder, hitting 6th. Caroline Myers, the designated player, hitting in the 7th slot. Toria Teckham, the left fielder, and then Faith Lovchik, the third baseman, hits in the number 9 spot for Osseo. Again, they are 1-0, as we said, and they'll be facing Rhiannon or Ray Beener for the Hawks, a freshman who takes over for Anderson. Pitched a little bit last year, but obviously is going to step into kind of handle most of the duties this year. And the other pitcher on their squad is her younger sister, her 7th grade sister. So they're definitely have some youth in the pitching circle this year.
One of the concerns you have as a coach when you have a pitcher as good as Casey Anderson, who started for you beginning sometime in the 7th grade, I believe, is you have some difficulty encouraging younger players to go into pitching when they know they're not going to be on the mound for a couple years. So I think that Cooper is going through that gap right now where they haven't developed a pitcher to take over, so they're starting over with Beener here.
There's a look at the Cooper defense. Hansen, Hicks, Hallquist, and Orset around the infield. Burns, Donahoe, and Sam Hallquist in right. Bruder at catcher, and as we said, Ray Beener doing the pitching for Cooper. Not sure how Bruner wound up with a, oh, okay, that's a sweatshirt. I was going to say, she's got her name on her jersey and the others don't, but it's a sweatshirt over the jersey for the catcher. Taylor Bridgman, 1 out of 4 in their season opener against Coon Rapids, so batting at .250 coming in. Lays off that one up and out of the zone. That one nips the outside corner and 1-1. Little chopper down first baseline, and the ball dropped. They're going to still say the tag is successful, though, as Bridgman is tagged out on the play. And
the ball rolls right down the first baseline. Instead of running back to the bag, she elects to go over and make the tag, but she does drop the ball in the process of making the tag.
No argument from Osseo, but I think there really could have been. She didn't hold the ball very long and when making contact. But so Kelly Auer will be the hitter. That one skips in. Auer 0 for 4 in their season opener. Did reach a couple of times, however, and stole a couple of bases. Got on an error and on a fielder's choice. Lays off that one up high. And up and out of the zone again here. So 3-0 count here to Auer, the shortstop. That one's on the inside part of the plate at the knees for strike 1. Beener trying to battle back here, not put Auer on. And a rip and a miss there. Oh, I think we had an illegal pitch called. So umpire discussing with Beener.
Yeah, the umpire extended his left arm before she threw the ball, so it called something to do with the footwork maybe. Did she step back off the rubber before she delivered the ball?
So either way, we get Howard to first with the walk, and Tallberg will be the hitter.
I think the high school rules allow you to start with your foot off the rubber, but do not allow you to step back.
Tallberg had a real good first game. Couple of doubles, 2 for 3 against Coon Rapids. Drove in a run, so the start you'd like to see from your number 3 hitter. They got a couple of veterans behind her as well. Osseo trying to get her rally going here in the bottom of the first. And lifted, but Hicks, the shortstop, will make the catch. And the throw across, and that is a double play. Howard took off with contact, but Hicks runs it down. A line-out double play, 6-3. And the Hawks are out of the bottom of the first inning. So for Osseo, no runs, no hits, and courtesy of this double play, no one left aboard. We've played 1 inning, and it's 0-0 here. Cooper and Osseo on 12 Sports.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
And we go to inning number 2 here at Osseo as Courtney Calkins completes her warm-up tosses here for Osseo. Cooper will have their 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up. Burns, Bruner, and Macy Hallquist. They went out 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first and try and get their first base runner here. So Burns stepping in, late swing fouls that one back into the screen. One definitely cool out here, but the one good news now is that not much worry about vision. The sun's starting to go behind clouds, and it wasn't in the spot where it's in either the pitcher's eyes or the hitter's eyes either, and sometimes these early games can be tough in that regard. That one's over for a strike, and quickly 0-2 to Burns.
Calkins throwing the ball in the mid-50s in this second game out in the season in this cold weather.
Stan, your radar gun's a lot smaller than it used to be. Able to hold off on that changeup in the dirt.
Off-speed pitch at 44 miles an hour after throwing a couple at 52, 53, 54.
Liner, but right at second base, and squeezed by Tallberg. Good contact by Burns. Definitely probably the hardest hit ball we've had so far here today, but it happens to be right at second base.
If she would have had to move one more step, she wouldn't have had it. That was really hit on the nose.
So Judy Bruner, the catcher, will step in. Hit 340 a year ago and had no errors in the field too, so they like her as a receiver and also as a hitter. Changeup got away from Courtney there. And lifted back foul and out of play. Well, certainly this early in the year, Stan, you talk about being cold with the lights, but on the other side, it's got to be a nice thing for a lot of the parents that are able to get to the games a lot easier than than your normal 4:15 start, and I'm sure they're excited about that around here for Osseo, not just for their high school team, but for their summer teams as well. Swing and a miss, and Bruner down on strikes.
And these programs that do have lights on the fields are really an attraction for the visiting team too, because those parents can come and watch their kids play. I know that Forest Lake, I think, has their entire home schedule in the evening this year.
So 2 gone. Macy Hallquist is the batter now for Cooper. And a bunt, and pops it back into the screen. Corners way in, looking for a bunt or a chop here from Hallquist. Swing and a miss there, trying to slap her way on, and now 0-2.
Hawkins doing a good job there throwing the ball up to make it very difficult to put the ball on the ground.
Taken for a ball, and I would guess that's probably one of the things that's tough for young players learning to slap hit is pitch selection.
That's right. And especially in softball where some pitchers have the ability to throw a rise ball.
So tap foul there as Hallquist stays alive at the plate.
See Hallquist shaking her hands after the vibration on the bat. She hit that one right on the end.
Change up, lifted, and that one is going to drop in. And Cooper has a hit. I don't know where Hallquist was running. I looked up and she was taking a big wide run to first there. Was able to make it in safely, although not as easily as probably she should have. Drops this one in. Just a well-placed little cue shot out there near second base.
Changeup is real difficult pitch to throw to a slap hitter because they're not looking to get the bat around in a hurry anyway. So it's pretty easy for them to make an adjustment and hold back and just chop at the ball.
Ray Beener, the hitter, as Hallquist advancing over to second. Pitch taken for a strike. And line foul on the first base line there by Beener. Calkins trying to work her way out of trouble. Way up high on that one. And there's a changeup for a called third strike, and Calkins gets out of trouble. So for Cooper, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of the second inning, still at 0-0 here between the Hawks and the Orioles.
I never thought I'd miss you half as much as I do. It must be love, love, love. It must be love, love, love. Nothing more, nothing less. Love is the best.
It must be love. It must be hospice.
Osseo will hit here in the bottom of the second inning of a scoreless game with the Cooper Hawks here. And Calkins, Sis, and Ruska will hit the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Orioles, as they did have a base runner in that first inning, but then Kelly Auer was doubled off first when Tolberg lined out to the shortstop Hicks.
At first I thought that was a hit and run play because she took off as soon as the bat made contact with the ball, but then I realized she just assumed it was going to get through for a base hit.
There's a look at Eric Ruska, the Orioles head coach, and I think feeling pretty good about the possibilities this year. They had some real strong years a few years back, and then kind of fell back a little bit. But a solid team a year ago, and looking to be as good or maybe a little bit better this year, I think. So they're
and playing in a very tough conference with Elk River and Maple Grove.
Yeah, the Northwest Suburban has picked up some of the top teams are really some of the better teams in the state now, which you couldn't always say. I mean, it's always been a good league, but so here's Courtney Calkins stepping in. Beaner's pitch way outside there. And Maple Grove, I think, took 4th last year, and Elk River took 1st in 3A, so that right there tells you quite a bit. And Park Center was 2A champion a couple years in a row back. It's been a couple years now, but they're in the league as well. And obviously rebuilding somewhat from that good class that they had come through, or good 2 classes. Ripped, foul.
And even though Maple Grove and Elk River played in different sections last year, they're playing in different sections again this year, but Elk River has moved from the section they were in over to Section 7 with Forest Lake, setting up another good matchup over there.
Comes with the change up there. So 2-2 count now to Courtney Calkins, with Ashley Siss waiting on deck here for Osseo. Little chopper foul at the plate right there.
One of the comments that Coach Brown made to us before the game was that if the Cooper can keep the ball down, the pitcher, that they can get some ground ball outs, and it looks like she was really doing a pretty good job there with a very good hitter at the plate. Oops.
That one too far down, skips wide. And I think even though that one was foul, I think it opens a pitcher's eyes a little bit when somebody turns on one as hard as Courtney did earlier in that bat too. So you really, you double your efforts to not put the ball up in a good hitting spot. And this one is sliced out, and it's going to get past. Courtney Calkins will get at least 2 and probably 3 out of this. She's digging for 3rd and will be in. So a leadoff triple here for Courtney Calkins.
You can't see it from this angle, but this ball was slicing incredibly. And it just eluded that right fielder, who was really played over for a pull hitter. She was really over in right center.
Hulquist misjudging that one a little bit, but it was a tough ball, and Stan said definitely slicing away from her. So now we're going to have a courtesy runner, it looks like, down there for Calkins, and Ashley Siss will be the hitter. Siss had a couple RBIs, was 1 for 3 in their win over Coon Rapids. Taken for a ball inside.
Infield playing in a couple of steps, trying to cut off that run at the plate.
Yeah, it would be interesting though. They're not all the way in. I don't think it's any sure thing they'd get an out if, depending on how hard a ball was hit. This one skips away, runner coming, and she will score. Andrea Denslake, the courtesy runner, in to score there for Osseo on the wild pitch. And the Orioles go up now by a 1-0 score. No hesitation, and actually made it fairly easily there. The return throw was into her body anyway, but
the ball skipped quite a ways away from home plate, but the catcher did really make a great throw back to the plate.
Siss chases one in the dirt there, shakes her head, she knew it. We'll change up down to 3rd, and the throw across is in time. So Sis putting it in play, but she is thrown out. 5-3 on the put out there by Hansen.
Good play by Hansen, who blocked the ball and then had the presence of mind not to panic, but just picked it up and threw it. Made a great play.
Lane Ruska, the hitter now, the freshman and daughter of their head coach, Eric, and lifted down the left field line, but foul. She was 0 for 3 in the opener against Coon Rapids. Inside with that one is Beener. And that one missing down. So 2-1 count here to Ruska. 1 run already in for Osseo. And 1 out. And that one in short of the plate, so 3 balls and a strike now. Slicing this one foul and out of play down the left field line. Goes change up on the 3-2 and down to first base. And play made there. Set tagging the bag this time.
Ball mishandled just a bit, but this time decided not to go for the tag. Go back to the bag and step on it.
Caroline Myers will be the batter now for Osseo. She was 1 for 1 in the first win over Coon Rapids on Monday night. Way outside with that one. Cooper in the North Suburban Conference. This is the final year for that conference. They'll be joining the new Metro West Conference, and some of their former North Suburban teams will be moving into Osseo's conference, the Northwest Suburban, with Spring Lake Park and Totino Grace and Irondale coming over.
And in terms of their softball programs, all 3 of those schools are really quite good. Spring Lake Park, Totino Grace, and Irondale.
Fouled and out of play. It'll be kind of an interesting mix for Cooper. It's some teams that they have been familiar with, either in the North Suburban or some years back in the Classic Lake and Lake, teams like Richfield and St. Louis Park. But then you've also got Chaska and Chanhassen, which I personally don't feel is a great fit for with some of those others, and I wonder how long that whole part of it's going to stay as is. And that one solidly hit into left field for a base hit by Myers. And she will be on at first base with 2 outs, trying to restart the rally here for the Orioles with a solid hit here.
Really makes a nice connection, solid line drive to the outfield.
And that's when you're in left. If you're Burns, you get that one knocked down or it's trouble, because that was a hard hit ball. If that skips by her there, they're going to be a long time to run for Myers. So Teckham will be the hitter now for Osseo. Takes a strike, runner is going, and the throw a little bit to the third base side. Hicks had to reach back and then try and make a tag, so Myers able to swipe second without too much trouble. Cooper didn't really seem all that ready for that one.
The throw is to the shortstop side of the bag, and it's way off target. This puts Myers in scoring position now.
Infield way up for the slap hitter Teckham. Swing and a miss. Of course, now they've got to be sure to be covering third. But 0-2 now. Teckham falling behind. And a swing and a miss, and Bean are able to get the strikeout and get out of trouble. But Osseo does break through. 1 run on a couple of base hits, no errors, and 1 left aboard. Through 2 full, it is 1-0 Osseo.
A Brooklyn Park church received some unwelcome visitors this past weekend.
Volunteers really do have their work cut out for them. They'll be inspecting 23,000 residential lots and city boulevards.
The problem began when the railroad decided to increase the train's speed. In the process, they had to raise a portion of the track over here.
Fire crews got a call around 4 Friday morning from a passerby alerting them to a deck fire.
This time, little lob for Winicky, trying to go up and get it. Touchdown!
And welcome back here to Osseo High School as we get set for the top of the 3rd inning, and Cooper will have the 8-9-1 slots coming up. Tracy Warset, Sam Hallquist, and Tamara Hicks will bat against Courtney Calkins here as the Hawks now trailing it by a 1-0 count here on a chilly evening, but a nice night overall. Well, maybe, kind of. You see all the blankets in the background as you get a look at Aaron Brown, the Cooper head coach. Was an excellent player for the Hawks and also played at the University of Minnesota. Again, I know you got an explanation on that illegal pitch call we had earlier in the game. What do you have to say?
The home plate umpire said that she put her hand to her mouth, which is okay, but then she didn't wipe it off before she grabbed the ball. That's what made it illegal.
Tracy Warset steps in and takes ball 1. See, most of the players who had, including both pitchers who had the sunglasses earlier, now electing to go without them. Warset fouling that one back. A rip and a miss at that one.
Calkins tends to stay up in the upper half of the strike zone, throwing a high, hard pitch. Good pitch.
That one on the inside corner, and Warset was backing away a little bit, but caught a little bit of the plate for strike 3. That is the 4th strikeout for Courtney. And Sam Hallquist will be the batter here for Cooper. Did she offer? I believe she did. Yes, it is a strike call. It was kind of a late offer, but I think she did go around. So good job by the umpires to confer there, and it is a strike. That one over the outside corner, and it's quickly 0-2. And a swing and a miss as she chased one up and out of the zone. And Courtney Calkins has struck out the first 2 hitters here in the 3rd. And now Hicks will bat for Cooper.
You can see some of the indications that it's the first game for Cooper where their hitters don't have the discipline to lay off those high pitches out of the strike zone. The more pitching they see, the better off they're going to be.
Bunted, and it's going to go foul, and let go foul there. And I think also with the weather we've had too, you haven't had a chance to face your own pitcher in any kind of live situation really to speak of either, I would think.
You've hardly been outside.
Right.
Again, that Hicks on the first pitch there was going after a ball that was up above her eyes.
And fouls this one out of play. Tap foul down third baseline, and I think it's certainly going to help the softball program and baseball program here at Osseo that they've got the new sports dome out. I know it was kind of a bone of contention that it's right next to Maple Grove High School, but it is for use for Osseo Park Center and Maple Grove. So obviously, with a lot of people sharing it, there's a called third strike. They don't get to get in there every day, but they definitely is a help. So a great inning for Courtney Calkins. Strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, no one left for Cooper in the third. We head to the bottom of the third. It is 1-0 Osseo.
Hi, I'm here to tell you about a new medical website designed especially for older folks. Website, you say? I can't work on computers. They're not senior-friendly, blah, blah, blah. But the National Institutes of Health fixed all that. Now you can make the type bigger, increase contrast, even make it talk to you.
Arthritis.
Just go to NIHseniorhealth.gov and get the best medical information available anywhere. NIHseniorhealth.gov. Built with you in mind.
And here we go to the bottom of the third. Faith Lovechick, Taylor Bridgman, Kelly Auer will hit for Osseo. The 9, 1, and 2 spots coming up against Ray Beener, the freshman pitcher for Cooper. A couple pretty hard hits against her in the second inning, but has done a decent job here, definitely through 2.
She's been effective with her changeup, catching some of those Osseo batters looking for something else and getting ahead of the ball.
Lovechick had 1 at bat in their opener, 1 official at bat, and was 0 for 1. And that one off the plate, outside 0-1, or 1-0, excuse me, to Faith Lovechick here. And now 2-0. This one kind of stuffed into the middle of some conference games for Osseo, partly because of well, no, actually I don't think it's so much because of reschedulings, but they're supposed to have games 4 days this week. Now, weather-wise, we may not necessarily see that happen, but they're at Blaine on Wednesday and then hosting Armstrong on Thursday. And with this non-conference stuck in the middle there, down the right field line, a long run for this one, but it's foul.
I'm surprised she had the green light on that with a 3-0 count. You figure if you can get your number 9 hitter on base, you're in pretty good shape for the inning.
The 3-1 pitch coming here from Beener. And that is strike 2, and Lovechick had started to make her way down the line.
Beener's shown a lot of poise in this game, getting to those behind in the count and catching up and really staying in it.
Hit hard out to right center, and that one's going to be down. Donahoe runs it down into second and turning for third. Ball rolls, and she is out at third. It actually got through the cutoff Hicks, but rolled right to third. Lovechick, I thought at the time this might not be the greatest gamble in the world as she tries for 3 and is cut down.
My guess is if the ball had been cut off, she would have been safe. The ball got through the cutoff and went right to the third baseman.
Nice job by Hansen to hang on to that ball. I think at that point, Lovchik realized that she was going to need to make a slide to the back of the bag there and hope to get in around it as the ball arrived, and she was cut down. So nice job by Donahoe getting that throw on target to Hansen on a hop. And Hansen, a good job to hang on. So 8-5 on the putout, a double. Osseo would have been in position for a great inning. Tap to third, Hansen up with it, and her throw is dropped at first base. And Bridgman will be aboard on the error. I'm going to call that an error on the first baseman. The throw seemed to be pretty well on target. They're good enough that should have been caught. So Bridgman aboard on an E3.
Yeah, the throw wasn't even in the dirt. It was in the air.
So here's Auer stepping up. She walked her first time up. Takes a strike here. In the dirt with that one. Bunts this one. Biener up with it. Throw to first. Gets the out there. Sacrifice is good. Bridgman down to second. So 2 outs, and Tallberg will be the hitter.
Biener does a good job of picking it up with the bare hand and getting it down.
Tallberg lined into a double play to the shortstop her first time up. Hits with a runner in scoring position here with 2 outs. Ball's in the dirt, runner going, and the throw not in time as Bridgman being aggressive out there on the bases. The pitch didn't get all that far away from Bruner, but far enough for her to advance. And so Tallberg a chance to knock her in here.
Very close play, but the right call.
Tallberg knocking it to third. Nice pickup by Hansen, and a nice job at first as well. So a good recovery by Cooper to get out of that inning with no runs. Kind of amazing when you consider how that whole inning went. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left aboard. It's still 1-0 Osseo here through 3 on 12 Sports. Back here to Osseo High School along with Stan Waldhauser, MJ Wilcox. Osseo leading Cooper by a 1-0 score. Cooper dancing out of trouble there with some solid defensive plays after Osseo looked like they might have an opportunity to score. A very good opportunity to score, not once but twice. A leadoff double, but then thrown out trying to stretch it to third. Then after Bridgman reached on an error and was bunted to second and went to third on a wild pitch, a good defensive play by Hansen. You don't have much margin for error when you're playing third. You either come up with that one clean or you don't, and she did a great job.
She's a young player, and she's really showing a lot of grit over there at third base.
Leah Donahoe, the center fielder, stepping in here for Cooper. Little pop out to short in her first time up, a slap hitter.
She came up in the first inning without any sleeves on, and I can see she's put the jacket on now.
Pounding it to second, and the flip to first is in time. The one thing that makes that a somewhat of a less routine play is when you got the first baseman pulled way in. And it's a little bit more difficult. Swanson has to retreat to the bag, but they still got it in plenty of time there as Good job by Tallberg to not only make the pickup, but not rush the throw and make Swanson have a tough play there. Michelle Hansen, the hitter now, the one who made that solid play over at third. She struck out her first time up, so 0 for 1 today. Little pop-up here, and this one is playable and caught in foul ground there by Lovchik. So 2 gone here in the top of the 4th. And now Burns will hit.
I think this would be a critical inning for Cooper. We're in the 4th now. This could be the last time that the top of the order gets to see the plate.
They've just had that one little bloop single out by second base by Hallquist. Other than that, Courtney's mowed him down.
She's recorded 6 strikeouts already.
Cooper's done a good job, though, of hanging in this one. In a lot of ways, they, perhaps are fortunate that it's only 1-0, but they're still right there. Fouled over that first base dugout. And lifted out to right field. Playable and caught as Ruska makes the grab. So the Hawks are done in the 4th inning. They go 1-2-3 again. No runs, no hits, no one left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Orioles here on 12 Sports.
Yeah, but did you see how much he had to drink last night? I can't believe that guy made it home. Nobody drives drunk anymore. Hold on, I got another call coming in.
While drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving and speeding fatalities have skyrocketed. Someone dies every 13 minutes from negligent driving, so keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your phone put away.
We go to the bottom half of inning number 4. The 4, 5, 6 spots due for Osseo here as they try and increase a 1-0 lead here against Cooper freshman Rhiannon Ray Beener.
Just looking at the statistics of Cooper on offense, and they've struck out 6 times. They've hit 5 balls into the air and 1 ground out. You can see that when Calkins throws that high, hard one, they're getting up underneath it and lifting it up into the air.
Courtney delivered the hit that led to their only run. Her courtesy runner, Denslake, scored it as she tripled in the 2nd, so 1 for 1. Definitely well hit by Calkins, although not well played by the outfielder either. I didn't officially call an error, but I think it was one that could have been caught. There's a strike. And chased after that changeup that landed on the plate. I'm sure she's not thinking it right now, but when you're a pitcher, you kind of can appreciate when somebody does that to you a little bit. You don't like that it happened,
That's right.
but you kind of have that little kinship with the other pitcher, I think. Another changeup, and it's strike 3. So Beener, a lot of times the thinking is you can't come back with another change, but she says, oh, why not?
Yeah, that was a great mix of pitches there on that at-bat. You're dealing with a hitter who's that good and completely baffling her with your change of speeds.
Ashley Siss, the batter now, grounded to third base her first time up, so 0 for 1. Lifting it to right field. This one's going to drop in and then overrun a little bit by Hallquist, and Siss will dig into second. The throw skips away on the way back in. She's going to go to third. And then this one rolls into home. So Siss will get a double and then a throwing error.
Ball's lifted up. It's routine, but it's a long way from the right fielder. She misplays it, and then the throw gets through, allowing the runner to advance to third.
So Cooper was able to cover up after an error the last time, but we'll see if they can do so again here. Ruska will bat with a runner at third and 1 out. That ball falls in doesn't bother you too much, but then you don't pick it up, and then you don't connect on the cutoff either, and those are the kind of things that really hurt you when the ball gets thrown away a little bit like that.
Well, Hallquist thought she could make a play on it, and she made the dive in the outfield. Smarter thing to do in that situation was just sit back, make sure that she...
Oh, they get the tag play at home as Hicks. I didn't think they had any chance to get her. The runner, Maddie Rice-Johnson, the courtesy runner for the catcher, was tagged out. The ball arrived in mitt right at the same time.
Take a look at this.
I'm sorry, did he call
it?
He must have called it safe.
I think he called her safe.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I thought oh, yep.
Safe. Yep.
Safe at home. So Hicks trying to get the throw home, and very close play at the plate, and it'll be a run for Osseo as ruled safe at home there. I apologize. I jumped the gun there and thought that they had gotten a great defensive play. Caroline Myers is the batter.
I think the tag was high and the foot was in. It's a good stop and a good throw. Tag was high and the foot was in.
Oof. So close.
Yeah.
Little tap foul. I think you might be right in this instance, Sam, but it's always bothered me when people say the tag was high. Well, if it got there before the foot,
oh, yeah, what I'm saying was the foot was ahead of the head.
Yeah,
so,
I know,
yeah.
I agree. But Myers hit the ball well. Her first time was 1 for 1, had a single. It was an interesting play to even come home for Hicks there. I don't think she was going to have much of a chance of getting out at first by that point either. It's a shorter throw, and they thought, well, we'll try. And I thought they had just about gotten her, but instead, Rice-Johnson in safely with the slide. So 2-0 Orioles. A little tapper foul here. Lifted up, short center, and dropped by Donahoe, but she's going to be able to make a play at second, so no harm done ultimately there, and it'll be the second out as Myers will reach on a fielder's choice. And no infield fly rule, of course, here either, because it's beyond and out to the outfield grass, and just plain old dropped it, but really doesn't change what the outcome would have been on the play anyway. Teckham now the batter with Myers aboard at first. That's the tough spot for a base runner in that spot. I mean, obviously you have to be near first base there. No chance to make it to second when they drop that one.
It's one of those situations where you can't win, because if you do go halfway down, you put yourself in a position of being doubled off of first. So you just have to sort of live with that one.
Offered at this one, runner is going. The throw was behind her to first, but Cooper wasn't quite ready for that, and Myers able to swipe second. She has 2 steals now. Teckham fouling it away.
These slap hitters can stay alive for a long time just by getting a piece of the ball.
Drea Teckham struck out her first time up, trying to get a board here with a couple out in the fourth. Osseo's put one run on the board here in the fourth after getting one in the second. And stays in there again on a foul ball. Important here for Cooper to stand to not really unravel and just keep it here at 2. I mean, obviously their scoring chances haven't come yet, but you know, if you can keep it at 2, you're at least still right there.
I think they're doing the right thing. They're playing the infield in to work on the batter and not worry about the base runner. They've got 2 outs, so that they just need to get another one here.
Lovechuck, the on-deck hitter here for Osseo, if Teckham can keep it alive. And there's a called third strike, so Beener works out of trouble. Osseo in the 4th inning, 1 run on 1 base hit. There was 1 Cooper error and 1 left aboard. We've played 4 full. It's 2-0 Osseo.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Cooper now down by 2 runs as they come up in the top of the 5th. Bruner, Hallquist, and Beener will bat for the Hawks against Courtney Calkins. Bruner had a strikeout in her first time up. Calkins getting set, and now Bruner will step in. She had to wait for her base coaches were a little tardy getting out there. That one taken low for a ball. It's a good pitcher's pitch there, though. If you can get them to try and put that one in play, chances are really good it's going to be a ground ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's in the dirt, though, 2-0.
Now this is a hitter's pitch because you know that pitcher wants to come back with a strike here and not get too far behind in the count.
Tapper off the plate, Calkins up with it, and the throw gets away. And Bruner is aboard to start the 5th. Get another look at who this error is going to be on. It wasn't, certainly not a real good throw, but was it good enough that it should have been caught? I'd say yes, E3. Not that different from the one that Cooper had that was dropped at first. Again, definitely not a perfect strike by the pitcher, but seemed catchable. So Macy Hallquist will be the batter. She has the only base hit for Cooper. A single in the 2nd. Bunting it to 3rd. Throw to 1st in the dirt, scooped out nicely, and then the throw back to 2nd. Not in time, so sacrifice is successful. And a very nice pick over there at first base by the second baseman, actually covering, of course, as Tolberg dug that one out of the dirt. So Ray Beener will hit now for Cooper with a runner at 2nd and 1 out. If they're still down 1, that this would be, potentially a better inning setting up, but there's a swing and a miss.
The problem is that Cooper needs 2 runs to tie, and they've just given up an out in order to get possibly 1 run, and there aren't very many innings left. So we'll see how this strategy pays out.
Another bunt try here, and I think possibly working into that equation too, though, is the fact that they really have had trouble hitting Calkins. They think, okay, if we can bunt the ball in play, we can at least force the defense to make a play, and they almost did throw it away. There's a strike, and Biener is caught looking, so Calkins comes back with a strikeout, and now 2 gone, and I think we're going to have a pinch hitter coming up here for Cooper. Emily Sullivan is going to bat for Worset, and you're in the number 8 spot. Sullivan getting some instruction there from Coach Brown, and we'll step on in, and guessing the most instruction right here would be, how about a base hit?
How about a base hit?
2 outs, there isn't going to be much different to say than that. Takes a strike. And lines it down the right field line, and that's a fair ball and a hit, and it'll score a run. Sullivan delivers off the bench with a base hit for the Hawks as Bruner comes in to score, and it is now a 2-1 ball game. Little bit of a late swing, but a hard hit ball by Sullivan.
What a clutch hit, coming in cold off the bench, slicing this ball down the line, and putting Cooper on the board.
I think we may see a runner. Well, we're going to actually see a pinch hitter as well. Kristen Conyer, number 9, is going to be the batter here, batting for Hallquist. And it looks like they will not run for Sullivan at first. They don't have a lot of players on their bench, just 4. Knocks it down to short. Long throw across is dug out. Nice play by Swanson. Looked like she turned her head a little bit and hauled that one in. So 6-3 on the putout as Auer made the long throw. But Cooper does get on the board. 1 run, 1 base hit. There was 1 error committed by Osseo and 1 left to board. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's now 2-1 Orioles here on 12 Sports.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
We go to the bottom half of inning number 5. Osseo's lead has been cut in half now as Cooper gets on the board on the clutch pinch hit single by Emily Sullivan there in the top of this inning. So Osseo will have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters up as you look at some of the crowd here, and a lot of blankets in evidence, including for me. And although I have to say, temperature-wise, I'm sure it's cooler tonight than it was on Monday night, but I think as you look at us here, no wind tonight comparatively with what we had last night, and that makes all the difference in the world. Not only in terms of how cold you are or aren't, but in terms of playing the game. I think it's so much easier when you've got a relatively still night like this. Lovchik has a swing and a miss. Incidentally, Worcette did re-enter as the first baseman, as expected there for Cooper, after being pinch hit for. Lovchik had a double her first time up, but was caught trying to stretch it for 3. Nice effort by Hicks. Got a glove on that, but that's going to be a single for Faith Lovchik there.
Right back through the middle. Nice diving stop, or potential stop. She knocked the ball down. Couldn't pick it up and throw it.
So Bridgman will hit. Runner on. It wouldn't be surprising at all to see Osseo either stealing or sacrificing or a little chopper foul there. Depending on what kind of runner Lovchik is, I think it would be tempting to try and straight steal her down to second and not have to give up that out on a bunt.
Especially with the second baseman in and the shortstop pulled away from the bag to cover the gap.
She is running. Here's the throw down. Oh, and it's dropped by Hicks. And in safely is Lovchik. That would have been a pretty close play had she been able to make the catch.
I think the throw was a little short.
Yeah, you're right. She's in front of the bag more than I realized there. Yeah, I think she was going to be in either way there. But Hicks, I think, was definitely taking her eye off the throw a little bit to look where the runner was trying to reach back. But so Osseo gets the steal. That one's in the dirt. Yeah, you made a great point, too, Stan, about the difficulty in covering on those plays with the infield alignment they had. Change-up misses low and away. So 3-1 count here to Bridgman with a runner at second, nobody out. Bottom of the 5th, Osseo trying to stretch its lead now. They're leading it just 2-1. Way up and out of the strike zone there, and Bridgman will take a walk. So Kelly Auer will be the batter now for the Orioles. Had a walk and a sacrifice, and not only for Osseo do you get a couple on to start the inning, but you've also got your heart of your order coming up, so they have to feel good about their chances here. And it'll be Beaner's job to try and make sure that they don't put some more on the board. Down to Hicks, made the tag, and then the flip to second, not in time and bounced away anyway, but they do get the lead runner as Hicks was able to reach out and get Lovchik on the way by. So
good play.
Yeah, it was.
Runner really ran right into that tag, actually. I know you have to have presence of mind there, but you'd think with a ball in the baseline that the runner might have tried to go behind her, see if she could confuse her there. But
I think she thought she was going to be able to get past before she could make the tag, and I kind of thought so too. I thought she was going to have to throw it if she was going to get it out. Good bunt here. Hansen down to first. And they will get the out at first if the runners move up. Sacrifice successful there by Tolberg, but a little surprising, I guess, with the 3-hitter up that they bunted. It was a very good bunt, however.
Great play by Hansen. I mean, she had to come in a long way to pick up that ball. That died right in front of home plate.
So they'll leave it up to Courtney Calkins here now with 2 outs and runners at second and third. A triple and a strikeout for Courtney so far. I think it's safe to call this maybe the at-bat of the game so far here. They get her out and they're still right there, but if she gets a base hit, probably going to make it a 3-run lead. Calkins to short. Hicks made the tag, throws to first, but there were already 2 outs anyway, but They'll get the out and get out of trouble. So for Osseo in the 5th inning, no runs on 1 base hit, and they'll leave a couple. We've played 5 full here. Osseo still leading it by a 2-1 score here. You're watching high school softball on 12 Sports.
Not long ago, Albert couldn't take long walks. He was diagnosed with a bad heart. After considering all the treatment options, his heart specialist recommended a pacemaker instead of putting him to sleep. Get the facts about animal research.
We head to the top half of inning number 6 here as Courtney Calkins trying to shut Cooper down here. He got 1 run off her last inning. 2 more at-bats coming for the Hawks. They will have the top of the order coming up, though. Hicks, Donahoe, and Hansen scheduled batters for Cooper. Osseo has to kind of be feeling like they were left a little short in that inning there, Stan. They got some base runners, some action, but not quite able to finish it off.
Well, I think they left themselves a little bit short with their strategy, too. Cooper's done everything they needed to do to stay in this game. They played great defense. Biener's giving them enough with changes of speeds and location to keep those hitters off balance, and they're making all the plays on defense.
Here's one thing that Cooper would like to see change. Their number 1, 2, 3 hitters, well, they're number 1 through 4, actually. None of them have reached base. 0 for 8 combined between their, really their most experienced players and presumably best hitters. Hicks down to third. Throw across is in time. As Lovchik didn't have much margin for error with the speedy Hicks running, but strong throw.
The infield was in and the ball was just hit too hard. It got to the third baseman too quickly.
So Donahoe will bat now for Cooper. She's popped to short and grounded to second.
It's interesting that as fast as Hicks is, she didn't just straight bunt and opted for the slap instead.
Donahoe does bunt. Another tough play, and they're not even going to make a throw. Donahoe with a bunt single, and that's kind of right as you were saying it about Hicks. That's what Donahoe did, and you see the result.
If you have to make the infielders move to get the ball, that gives you an extra step down the line. That's all she needed to get there.
And I think a pretty good decision not to throw that. A lot of times you see somebody, they think, I've got to hurry, I've got to come hard and throw hard, and that's when you end up making errors. So good play to hold it there. Michelle Hansen, the batter now for Cooper. She is 0 for 2. With nobody out, I would think a bunt might be in order here, but with 1 out, probably not as likely. Pops it up. It's going to get out of play behind the first base dugout. Cooper is mentioning that this year they're, they get kind of excited to play under the lights because their annual Spangers game with Armstrong this year is actually going to be a scrimmage. Runner going, throw down, not held, and Donahoe will be in with a stolen base. I think there was a situation where there weren't enough game dates available for both, so you see this throw, and boy, that would have been close. It was just not held out there at short by Auer.
It's the same situation as we saw in the last inning for Cooper, where she turned to look at the runner before she had control of the ball. Yeah, that's a shame that the Armstrong-Cooper game can't count as a real game. It's got to be set up as a scrimmage.
And last year, Cooper won that one for the first time in a few years, too. So big play by Cooper there. Donahoe, a little bit of a gamble as they try and steal her, and it looked like maybe if the ball was held on to, it might have been it certainly would have been a close play anyway, but she's in with that stolen base, so Hansen a chance to knock in the tying run. Rip and a miss, and she strikes out for the second time today. Courtney Calkins getting the strikeout for out number 2, and Jessica Burns will be the batter. And that one is knocked down to second, and Tallberg will make the catch. And Burns is out on the lineout. So for Cooper, no runs, 1 base hit, and they leave 1. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it is still 2-1 Osseo here on 12 Sports.
You born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
Sis, Ruska, and Myers will hit for Osseo here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As the last 2 innings, really, well, they did get 1 in the 4th, but the last inning then, and after that run scored in the 4th, they've had, you know, a fair number of runners. More, they're probably a little disappointed to be at 2, but at the same time, you do have to credit Cooper's defense for working out of some trouble there too.
Well, both the runs that they've scored originated on misplayed balls in the outfield. So we take those away, and it could be even tighter game.
Sis was involved in the second run as she doubled and then reached third on an error. And again, that one was a little bit of a sinking liner. Definitely a legitimate base hit, but it was overrun a little bit in the outfield. Down the third base line, and it's a fair ball off of Hansen's glove. Sis takes a turn, but will hang on at first base with a single. Hansen reaching out for this one.
See, the key here is that her glove is in fair territory when the ball hits it. That makes it a fair ball.
Lane Ruska batting now for Osseo. Reached on a fielder's choice last time up. She had the ball that the center fielder Donahoe came in on and then dropped, but it was in a position where she could easily make a force play at second.
Osseo playing for 1 run, showing bunt here with the runner, leadoff runner on first.
Lined into left field, and that'll be a base hit. And then the throw back in gets away. Cooper hurting themselves with overthrows on a couple of occasions. And so now runners at second and third as Ruska slicing a hard single to left, and then a throwing error.
You can't see it in the screen, but Hicks was making a move towards second to cover the base and was out of position on that ball that went through the hole. Then the throw comes in from left field and escapes the fielder at second base, skips all the way over to first, and the runners are on second and third with nobody out.
Myers will hit. Golden opportunity here for Osseo to break this one open a little bit here. And a hitter up who's done well so far. It's a fair ball. And they're not going to make a play on her at first base. So Myers will get about a 2-foot base hit there. I thought the ball might have hit her. No, it did not, I guess.
And it stayed fair.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't want. They didn't want to give up another run, but I think Cooper would have had time to still get that out at first base without the runs, or at least an opportunity to throw the runner out. We're going to get Allison Duffy batting here for Tecum in the number 8 spot. So no margin for error in terms of walking anyone right now either, though. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Duffy stepping in to hit.
Infield way in to cut off the run at the plate.
Swings and misses. The one good thing too, though, if you're Cooper here, is it is a force play at home. So a little slap hit, you've got an opportunity to just throw to your catcher without having to worry about a tag play.
Good changeup.
Oh, 2 here to Duffy. That one misses away.
Good pitch to throw with an 0-2 count. You want to see if that batter is going to pick on something that's outside the strike zone.
To second, kicked around a little bit. They'll get the out at first, but a run scores. Playing so far in there, it's a tough ball to handle, and Hallquist recovers to get the out at first, but now a 3-1 lead here for Osseo. Good move not to panic there. I mean, that's a tough chance. And Duffy will drive in a run.
I noticed before that pitch that Brunner had set up way inside, but the pitch wasn't that far inside. It was a little bit hung out over the plate, and that gave Duffy a chance to get the bat on it and really slap it pretty hard.
Lovechick is the batter here. He's had a double and a single, 2 for 2 today. 2 runners at second and third, 1 out. Now 3-1 Osseo. Tapper to short. Hicks up with it. Runners hold. She's going to throw back to third, and they get the out. Ruska straying too far off third, and Hicks throwing back over to Hansen, and they get the out. Base running mistake there for Osseo. And now 2 gone. It wasn't as though she made a great fake or anything either. That's the part that I think is a little puzzling there for Osseo.
And
Bridgman is the hitter now. And ball drop, but they're going to hang on there at second.
And Myers was 2/3 of the way to third, too, on that. Did you notice that? Behind Hicks.
Way up high and inside there. To short, Hicks up with it, guns it across. Bridgman is out, and Osseo does get a run, but Cooper gets out of what could have been further trouble. 1 run in the inning, 3 base hits, 1 error, and they'll strand a couple here. We have played 6 full, the Orioles 3, the Hawks 1. One more chance for Cooper coming up on 12 Sports.
What do you want from the all-powerful Oz?
A brain. People wonder how I got to be the all-knowing Wizard of Oz. I go to USA.gov, the official source for government info.
Pick up the student loan form to your right. Next!
I want to go back to Kansas.
Oh, that's a toughie. Back to USA.gov, passport applications.
For federal and state government information, there's no place like USA.gov.
And here we go to the top half of inning number 7. What's been a good ball game here. Our season opener on 12 Sports, and it is also the season opener for Cooper, the second game for Osseo here as cool night, but pretty well played game for the most part here. Some mistakes here and there, but Osseo trying to shut it down and get a victory here, and Cooper trying to battle back. Judy Bruner will hit to lead it off in the 7th, and their only run scored when she led off the 5th and came around to score, so they're hoping for a little more of the same here in the 7th. Popped up, but it's going to get out of play.
I want to see it hit loud. That was open. I'll put my hand down in this one.
Hits it down the right field line. It's a fair ball, and Bruner will be aboard to start the 7th. They've had a couple of hits down that line, having trouble really getting around on Calkins a little bit, but doesn't matter whether you're hitting it using all parts of the field here, and drops it in.
Jim Schmidt, the first base umpire, taking a close look at that slicing line drive and calling it fair.
Yeah, it looked to be from here, I thought. Hallquist will be the hitter, I think. I guess I'm not sure, but I was thinking there might have been a question on whether, using somebody who's already been in the game as a courtesy runner, perhaps. Yeah, it's really hard to tell. That line is pretty invisible from out here, but umpire was in a good position to see it. I have no reason to doubt that it was fair. Pitch is over for a strike. Hallquist a single on a sacrifice, so she's 1 for 1 today.
Cooper needs 2 runs to tie, so takes the bunt out of the game.
Slashes at that one and strike. So 0-2. And a swing and a miss, and on 3 pitches, Hallquist goes down on strikes. Ninth K of the game here for Courtney. And Beener was the scheduled hitter, but it looks like she might be hit for after she's struck out twice. Looks like Leah Myers might be coming up.
4 for 1.
Yep. Myers will be the pinch hitter here.
Coach Brown using the whole bench tonight.
Cut and a miss there.
You see her cutting up under the ball, under that high pitch.
Strike 2. I think it takes a little bit of the pressure off if you're Osseo here defensively, having gotten that 3rd run, rather than knowing that the runner aboard would be the tying run. You want to be sharp either way, obviously, but.
And also already having got it in the first out in this inning too. That's important.
1-2 count here to Myers. Chases that one for strike 3, and now 2 gone here. 1 more at bat here for the Hawks. So 24 is Emily Sullivan re-entering. She pinch hit, drove in the only Cooper run last time, then was re-entered for. So now if we were to go to extra innings, Warset, or if we go to the bottom of this inning, Warset is out of the game now. Cooper hoping that Emily can come through the way she did last time. Takes that one down low for a ball. There's a strike, 1-1. Strike two, and Cooper down to their final strike. Swing and a miss down on strikes, and the game is over as Calkins strikes out the side in the 7th after that leadoff hit. 11 Ks in the game for Courtney, and Osseo wins it by a 3-1 score. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left for Cooper in the 7th. So Stan, overall for this early in the season, this cool of a night, pretty good ball game here.
I think Osseo has to do some work on just fundamental base running and making plays there, and Cooper needs to do some work on laying off those high pitches. But other than that, it looks like a really good game with two very young teams, both teams having only 2 seniors on their roster. So expect a lot more for them for the rest of the season and, of course, in the next seasons, too.
Cooper scheduled to play South on Wednesday and at Fridley on Thursday. Again, weather permitting, of course. It doesn't sound like a great forecast for the rest of the week. Osseo be taking on Blaine on Wednesday and Armstrong on Thursday. We'll be back to wrap things up here from Osseo High School in just a moment. Your final in this one, Osseo 3 and Cooper 1.
Hi, I'm here to tell you about a new medical website designed especially for older folks. Website, you say? I can't work on computers. They're not senior friendly, blah, blah, blah. But the National Institutes of Health fixed all that. Now you can make the type bigger, increase contrast, even make it talk to you.
Arthritis.
Just go to NIHseniorhealth.gov and get the best medical information available anywhere. NIHseniorhealth.gov. Built with you in mind.
Welcome back to Osseo. So far, so good for the Orioles here this season as they get off to a 2-0 start with a 3-1 win over Cooper. Joined by a couple of players that helped to make it happen, starting with Ashley Siss, a catch in the game tonight and a couple of hits for you. How did you feel like you guys played overall out here tonight?
I think we definitely need to improve, but we let go of our mistakes and we came back, and we did have a little down inning, but then we came back and we scored some more runs.
You guys, a new thing for you this year, having lights, is starting with a couple games. How do you guys like it so far, even though it's been cold?
Yeah, I really like it. It gives me a lot more time to do stuff after school, and it's just a rush. I've been excited for it for the last year.
I'm sure it's a lot nicer, too, for a lot of the parents able to get here easier, and that's got to be one extra benefit for it, too, I would think, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you guys this year have definitely some good returners and everything, and a good start, as we said. How do you feel overall? What are the chances for you guys to have some good success this spring?
I think we have a lot of potential this year, and it definitely shows after these last 2 games that we've had.
All right, good luck the rest of the way here. And Colin, Courtney pitched well, 11 strikeouts. How did you feel, first of all, out there pitching tonight?
Felt good. It was good to get out there, to get going. It was a little cold at first, but once we got started, the flow of the game just warms you up as you start going.
Looked like once they pulled within 2-1 that you really bared down. I mean, ending with 3 straight strikeouts, did you kind of want to end it that way just to put an exclamation point on it a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. It feels really good, especially when you're out there, you have trust in your teammates, and so you know they're there to back you up all the time. So it's just throw your game and it's good to go.
You guys hit the ball fairly well tonight. You had that triple early on, and they were able to wiggle out of some innings. It seemed like you were going to score more runs than you did, but overall, did you feel like you guys hit the ball okay tonight?
I thought we did okay. We definitely have areas to improve on, but we came together those couple of innings, and we definitely strung a couple of hits that we definitely needed.
How about you? Do you enjoy the under the lights part of it here, having the new lights out here?
Oh, I love it. It's such a different perspective on the field. It's so much cooler to play with it.
All right, Courtney, good job here tonight, and good luck the rest of the week. Hopefully we can get some more games in. Sounds like the forecast isn't great, but good luck with the rest of the week here.
Thank you.
All right, Courtney Calkins and Ashley Siss for Osseo. They win it by a score of 3-1 tonight. They are now 2-0, as we said. Cooper losing, but they played a pretty solid game overall tonight. The Hawks now dropping to 0-1. For Stan Waldhauser and all of our chilly crew out here tonight, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Osseo.